We begin in 2014 on the Caribbean island of Yara, where Anton Castillo, the son of deposed former President Gabriel Castillo, is elected president of Yara and promises stability and economic prosperity with the creation of Viviro, a new cancer treatment drug developed by combining a chemical, designated as PG240, with Yara's tobacco, which augments the naturally occurring compound within it called yarantine. Now, 7 years later, in 2021, he announces the Draft to Paradise, an allegedly random lottery system that, in actuality, enslaves chosen citizens as workers for the tobacco fields in order to increase Viviro production. As the country's military national defense forces, Fuerzas Nacionales de Defensa, or FND, begins rounding up the poorest citizens of Yara in the capital city of Esperanza, Danny Rojas, a former FND conscript, joins with friends Lita Torres and Alejo Ruiz in planning an escape to make a new life in the United States. Alejo is shot in the head and killed, but Danny and Lita escape on a fishing boat with other refugees, bound for Miami, Florida. However, the boat is stopped by Anton, who reveals that his son, Diego Castillo, is aboard, and was attempting to sneak away on the boat as well. After retrieving him, Anton orders the boat to be sunk by gunfire, destroying it and killing nearly everyone on board. Surviving the attack, Danny and Lita awaken on a nearby beach, but Lita succumbs to her injuries and dies after telling Danny to seek out the Libertad guerrilla movement, led by a woman named Clara Garcia. After assisting Clara, along with ex-spy master and Libertad weapon maker Juan Cortez, in breaking through the FND's naval blockade, Danny is given the option of taking a boat and escaping alone to Miami, which would ultimately lead to Anton's victory over Libertad with the FND's killing of Clara, but Danny instead decides to remain in Yara to assist the guerrillas in their war against Anton. Danny is then tasked with contacting and aiding anti-Castillo forces throughout Yara, starting with the Montero family, revered by Yara's tobacco workers, in Madrugada, fighting against General Jose Castillo, Anton's sadistic nephew and commander of Yara's Air Force. After Jose is killed by forcing a grenade into his mouth and arming it, Danny travels to meet with the revolutionary music group Maximus Matanzas in the Valle de Oro, contending with Maria Marquesa, Yara's Minister of Culture and Diego's mother, along with Dr. Edgar Reyes, the scientist who created Viviro. Maria is killed first, followed by Reyes, before Danny moves on to the Legends of 67, surviving revolutionaries who overthrew Anton's father Gabriel in 1967, and La Moral, an anarchist group of university students in El Este, opposing Admiral Anya Benitez, commander of Yara's Navy, in addition to Canadian businessman Sean McKay, who handles the imports and exports of Viviro-related materials and weaponry for the Castillo regime. In addition to her initial encounter with Diego on the boat during their escape attempt, Danny crosses paths with him again while fighting for Libertad, first during a failed assassination attempt on Anton in the midst of a public address, and then when Danny is captured and tortured by Anton's second-in-command, General Raul Sanchez. From these encounters, Danny and Diego form a bond, leading him to save her life by killing Sanchez with a shot to the head and convincing Anton to free her, though Anton still arms and tosses a grenade at her as he and Diego leave. After uniting all of the anti-Castillo forces under Libertad's banner, Danny learns that Anton lured and captured Clara under the pretense of a parley and is holding her at his personal villa. When Danny infiltrates it and confronts him, Anton explains that he has suffered from acute leukemia for the past 13 years, conceiving Diego with Maria as a contingency plan when he was first diagnosed, in an attempt to ensure that his vision for Yara would continue in the event of his death, and that his Viviro treatment stopped working 6 months ago. Impressed by Danny's accomplishments, realizing that she has become the de facto leader of Libertad through her work with the anti-Castillo groups, and wishing to have a guide for Diego after his death, Anton demands that Danny become his new general in exchange for Clara's life. Juan, watching over Danny with a sniper rifle, but unable to get a clear shot on Anton himself, chooses to shoot Diego instead, but Danny dives in front of him, pulling him out of harm's way. In response, Anton kills Clara with a gunshot to the head, leaving Danny as the reluctant new official leader of Libertad. The Castillos return to Esperanza, which is now surrounded by the united anti-Castillo Libertad forces. Storming the Hotel Paraíso, which Anton uses as a presidential palace, Danny confronts the dictator in his penthouse office, but Diego refuses to move away from his father, preventing Danny from getting a clear shot to kill him. Danny promises to protect Diego, but Anton, believing that Diego will be imprisoned and punished the same way he was after his father Gabriel was overthrown, or worse, shoots his own son to spare him this fate before committing suicide, and despite Danny's efforts to save Diego, he dies shortly after. The resistance forces then arrive in the penthouse, unanimously declaring Danny as the new leader of Yara, but Danny refuses the position, claiming that she's not a politician, and that one person alone should not be the leader, but that the heads of the revolutionary forces should lead Yara together as a group instead. After burying Clara, Danny and Juan continue to wage war against Anton's surviving loyalists, who still seek to prevent a free election, with Juan securing additional funding for Libertad by supplying Viviro to a mysterious smuggler who bears resemblance to Vas Montenegro from previous events.